Hi, I'm Anthony from City Backyard Veggies. We're in late May at the moment and it's time for me to start overwintering my chili plants. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what I do to my plants to set them up to survive the next few months up to spring when they'll start producing again. Just for some context on my chili plantings, this is my jalapeno patch. The variety is called Jedi and I have 8 plants here planted out in early September. So they've been in the ground for about 8 months now. Now I've been harvesting a lot of fruit off these plants over the last 6 months and it's been producing quite well, and this year I've decided I want to overwinter these plants, see if I can get an early start on the harvest in October. Now in the context of my patch, I'm located in metropolitan Sydney, Australia, and in my experience I get very little to no frost during the cooler months. I may get a mild frost in late August, but besides that, generally speaking, I don't get temperatures below freezing here. And on top of that, my planting here is planted on the north facing side of my patch, so it gets all day sun, and it has some shelter provided by the conifers on the fence line. To overwinter these plants, I'll be pruning back a lot of the leaf matter, but before I do that, I'm going to be harvesting a lot of this fruit first. It's actually still quite clean and still very useful, so I'll be taking a lot of these off to make cowboy candies. So when it comes to pruning my chilies, what I'll be doing is I'll be pruning to the nodes, and just to show you what they look like, these are the nodes here. You've got a further node coming up this side, and then as you go up the plant you can just see the nodes just traveling up. Now I'll be pruning to a V shape, and continuing on, I may even prune at this point here to get this V shape going. Likewise, I'll prune to over here to get the V shape going on that side. Now the plant is 1.4 meters high nominally, and so depending on the height of your plant, you may want to prune a bit higher, but in my context I'll be looking at pruning in these locations here. So pruning, I count 1, 2, 3 nodes. I'm looking at trying to potentially prune on this side to this node here, and I'll just clear it off. On this side here, I want to prune to the next 2 nodes up here. I want to keep it just a little bit longer, so likewise just prune at the top of the node. I'll also be taking off these side shoots. Likewise on the other side, main node, second node, got my 3rd nodes here, and I'll just be pruning on top of those nodes. And that's now done. Just clear this off. Over to the next plant, and using the same technique, finding that 3rd node just up here, I'll cut that left, and that coming over to the next, the back one. 1, 2, 3, I'll cut to this node, and likewise the back one I'll cut to this node. Finally, with the back stake, casting it to this node and this node. I will get rid of this node, it's close to crossing, so I'll get rid of that node. And that's done. Just finished pruning those plants, and I went through and actually just cleared up a lot of the grasses around the base of the plants. These had not been cultivated in about 8 months, so it's time to just come through and get rid of all those perennial grasses and other weeds that have been growing around. And you can see perfectly pruned, looking great. I've just broken up the soil around the base of these plants just to get a bit of air in there, and I'm going to add a few amendments now just to prepare them for spring. First thing I'll be adding to the base of each of these plants is just a container load of chicken manure pellets, just to give them that little bit of nitrogen, and by the time this breaks down and spring comes along, it will help promote the growth of the leaves and the plants themselves. In addition to that, I'm going to add a little bit of sulfate of potash and superphosphate Again, I want my fertilizer to be relatively weak in nitrogen, higher in the phosphorus and potassium mix to really encourage those plants to produce fruit. So just a small handful of both the potash and superphosphate, and again I'll be just adding that to the base of each of the plants. And finally I'll add half a barrel load of homemade compost, and I'll just spread that over the top layer just as a mulch, and that will break down, adding more nutrients to the bed and really freshening up the soil there to really help the jalapenos grow well next season. Just finished mulching the bed, and you can see I just added the compost on the top layer, and besides that the plants look pretty good now. I'm not going to do any more work on these plants. I may give them the occasional water, especially if it doesn't rain, but we've been getting a lot of rain lately. Now in Sydney I get very little, if any, frost, and the frost that does turn up comes in late and really mild, so I'm not going to be providing any more protection to these plants. But if you are in a frost prone area, plastic sheet overnight, especially when you know frost is coming, will help save your plants. I'm expecting that these plants will start leafing up in early September as the days get longer and warmer, and I'll show you another video when that happens, and I'll show you what I do to set them up for success. But besides that, happy that's done now. Can move on to a few other things in the garden, and I'll keep you posted on how they go over the next few months. Thank you very much everyone for joining me in this video. I really appreciate all the support, and I hope to see you in the next one.